It is Parents' Weekend. Strolls on the quad, fall foliage on the bucolic campus, an idyllic scene. But nearby, in off-campus housing, a dark scene is unfolding. College junior Logan is discovered dead in his apartment. The campus of UMass Amherst is reeling. Vice Chancellor for University Relations John Kennedy remembers the day.
To have a death happen, what was that like?
It's incredibly shocking. It's heartbreaking. Logan himself was incredibly well liked. He was a good student. It's stunning when something like this happens.
The news spreads like wildfire and piques the interest of fellow students like Eric Bosco, an earnest 21-year-old journalism major who dreams of a career at a big city newspaper.
There was an email sent out to the campus community telling us that a student had died in his off-campus apartment, but there was no information about how exactly he had died. So I had been asking around and began to hear rumors.
This story published...
Eric is taking a class in investigative journalism with Professor Steve Fox.
The goal of the investigative class...
Eric and another classmate make the curious case of Logan's death their class project.
So you started sniffing around. How long did it take you to start to get some information?
I went down to UMass Police and requested all documents relevant to his name.
Do they just hand them over?
After a few days, they made the copies and they turned everything over, yeah.
They are public documents, but it's only this enterprising young reporter who asks to see them. Easy to obtain, impossible to forget.
Were you shocked by anything that you read in there?
I was.
In those police records, secrets of a turning point in Logan's life. Details of a night 10 months before his death. At the time, Logan is a sophomore living in a dorm. He is dealing drugs, and campus police have noticed. So one cold winter's night, Logan unwittingly sells an undercover officer 2 tabs of LSD for $20. The jig is up.
So an undercover police officer comes in here at night, buys some LSD.
Yep.
And they search his room at that point.
Correct.
And what do they find? They
find $700 in cash, an assortment of drugs, and a hypodermic needle.
At UMass Amherst, a discovery like this one would typically lead to arrest, suspension, and according to school policy, a phone call to Logan's parents. But on this night for Logan, campus police choose to do something different. Very different.
And they made him an offer. What was the offer?
The offer was they'll drop all charges and they won't charge him with distributing LSD and for the possession of the drugs in his room if he wears a wire and makes a controlled buy from a higher level dealer on campus.
At another dormitory?
Correct.
To Logan, it's not much of a decision. Not only does he face charges, he faces having to pay back $40,000 in scholarship money. He takes the deal. Police identify him as confidential informant number 8. That same night, police direct him to contact his former roommate, a friend called Sleepy Dan, and arrange to buy $70 worth of LSD.
This is where Logan then comes.
Yes.
After texting Sleepy Dan.
Yes.
And he's wearing a wire.
When he gets up into the room, he's wearing a wire. He makes the buy, he leaves the room, and detectives swoop in and make the arrest.
What time frame are we talking about? Like how quickly after Logan goes in and makes the buy from Sleepy Dan in this dormitory?
A matter of minutes.
In a matter of minutes, the police are in there right away.
Right.
That must have caused a lot of commotion. It's a crowded dormitory filled with students. Not so confidential.
I guess not.
No secret on campus, but it's very secret to Logan's mom, Francesca. She's kept entirely in the dark about just how dark her son's college experience has become.
You were the one who told Logan's mom that Logan had worked as a confidential informant?
Correct.
How hard was that to do?
That was probably the hardest thing I've ever done. She began to cry, and yeah, it was just a powerful, tragic moment.
I'm not sure J school, journalism school, actually prepares you for tasks like that.
I'm not sure anything can prepare you for that.
I miss him. Just really miss him.
Francesca is now determined to help Eric. She sends him Logan's cracked iPhone.
What did you find?
We found a lot. This kid hadn't deleted any text messages for a year and a half or 2 years that he had the phone. He was able to essentially speak from the grave.
Logan's texts make it clear that taking that deal has taken a toll. The life of the party has become a campus pariah. A guilt-ridden Logan writes a friend, "Kinda hard to live with myself. That was honestly the worst day of my life."
He was paying a big price as that rumor got around campus about his role in the arrest of a fellow drug dealer.
Right.
A friend texts, "You're just a really, really selfish bleep." Logan writes, "Don't hate me, hate the system for making me an offer I couldn't refuse." To another friend, "I'm thinking transfer out of UMass. Everyone hates me now." Logan confides in his childhood friend, John Neuwirth.
He wasn't happy about what he did. He was ashamed. He felt bad. I mean, as anybody would. He gets labeled as a snitch, labeled as a rat. It's basically ostracizing him from the community.
1 month after Logan is made confidential informant number 8, the police are in touch with him again.
"This is the police department. I got some money I need to return to you. Just give me a call when you get a chance."
They are returning that $700 they took from his dorm room. The news seems to brighten Logan's dark mood. In a text, Logan writes, "Cops are giving me my bleeping money back, and we're in business."
And then he then went and used that money to buy drugs.
Right.
Money that, had he been arrested and had you been called, he would never have been able to use to purchase drugs.
No, he wouldn't have been.
Instead, Logan stays at UMass, and soon comes the most dire of all of his text messages. "I'm a heroin addict," he confesses to a friend. "I'm going to rehab when school's out." But he keeps all of this a secret from his mother. At the same time he's asking his mother for lasagna, the night before Parents' Weekend, 10 months after he went undercover, he sends a message to a dealer, desperate for a fix. "My veins are crying. Is the traffic going to be bad?" The dealer responds, "You will very soon be in the loving, comforting arms of Miss H." By the next morning, Logan, just 20 years old, is dead.
Where was Logan found?
In the bathroom.
On the floor?
Yes. Nearby, there was a spoon and a needle.
It is a fate Francesca is certain could have been avoided if only she had been given a chance.
We should have been called under the policies and procedures of the university. I would have been up there in the middle of the night, bringing him home and finding him help. Just knowing there was a syringe, I would have just automatically made an assumption it was heroin.
So do you think that Logan died because he was a confidential informant?
Yes.
Not
Yes.
because he was a drug addict?
No. No.
Why? It's 10 months that passed.
If the policies and procedures were adhered to, I would have been alerted to this. He would have gotten help. He would be alive.
Next, a hockey mom with a power play, on a mission, pitting herself against a prestigious university.
You don't think these parents have a right to know that their child is being used as a confidential informant while on a college campus?
And who was Logan's dealer, who dealt him the lethal dose of heroin? The answer is the last thing UMass wants to hear tonight. Stay with us.